Okay. Welcome everyone. I'm so excited to have Juan Song here with us, one of our amazing uh, cooks in the area. And Juan, you're going to be sharing a really amazing family recipe with us. But before we get into the recipe, would you introduce to the watchers on a little bit about you and how you found the co-op?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So my name is Huan Song. I am a transplant to the Champaign community. I'm from Virginia, where my family is right now, including my grandparents. But I was born and raised in Sichuan, China. If you've heard of the word Sichuan or as a location before, you probably know that we're really well known for our spicy food. So today in this recipe, it is kind of a spicy recipe. It's a little intimidating because of all the chili oil, but I promise it's more fragrant and less spicy. You can always tone down the spice levels. I love to cook, I love to eat, and I love to grow stuff. So I think that's what brought me to the co-op. I wanted to feel rooted in a community, and I know food is always like a central hub to what brings a community together. I love the fact that we can get local produce year round there, and every time I go, it's like going into a wonderland because you never know what you're gonna find in the aisles.
Very true. Oh, I love that.
Last week, I actually just got a carton of eggs, and every one of them had a double yolk. Can you believe that?
Yes, all of them. Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. Do you remember which farm? Was it Moore Family Farm or uh
Feather
Heather
Lane?
Lane?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I got super lucky. I think this is like supposed to be very lucky in Chinese culture, so we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, I remember double yolked eggs. I that was the co-op was the first place that ever discovered them. And that's kind of amazing that all of them were double yolks. That's incredible.
I don't know. Good on those hens or one hen. I don't know, but it was very auspicious.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, well, I'll have to let them know they've got some really special chickens there. Cool. Yeah, yeah. Well, we're so excited to feature your family recipe. And we've been wanting, you actually had one of your classes scheduled right when COVID hit last year. So we're gonna try and find other ways that we can have you back at the co-op, but we're just so grateful that you wrote a blog and did a bunch of cooking. Would you describe the recipe you're sharing with us today?
Yes, absolutely. So, in the States, we know like chicken noodle soup or chicken soup is for the soul, but in Asia and in China, we have noodle soups as well. And we have wonton noodle soups, which are even better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Growing up, wontons were, for me, they were not a delicacy because we ate them all the time. So the recipe today is what I think is a fantastic wonton recipe that is perfect for this like transitional season where it's like hot and cold and you're not sure what is up with this weather and you just want
Yeah.
a bowl of warm, comforting, and fragrant soup. So, as I mentioned in my blog, my grandmother had, both she and my grandfather, but she was really the owner of the business, had a dumpling tuk tuk. She started this business after she retired. And, I spend a lot of time with her. I spent all my summers with her. And some of my earliest memories of my life was making dumplings, eating them, making wontons, and just enjoying that. I should preface dumplings and wontons are different, but my grandmother's business did sell both. And, I do marketing and my grandmother is not a marketer, but when I was talking to her, when I saw her a few months back, she was like, "Oh yeah, I basically did market research. I talked to my customers. I brought them what they wanted." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, grandma, what an awesome entrepreneurial story." And her
Yeah.
business was very successful because she really listened to these customers. She initially sold dumplings, and then the customers were like, we want wontons for our children who prefer wontons. So then she brought wontons to the market.
That's such I like love that story, and I feel like it's amazing. I'm so glad that you had the chance to kind of be with your grandma like growing up, and to have her kind of be like this amazing cook and kind of mentor. I feel like that's just really precious. I'm really glad, and I'm glad that you're honoring her by using this family recipe and being willing to share it. I can't wait for people to have the chance to try it. And yeah, I we just started to get wonton wrappers in, so I know I I made crab rangoon, but I'm holding out for this awesome recipe. Yeah, that's really amazing. Are there any tips or tricks? I remember in the past you've talked about there's like a bunch of different ways that you can fold your wontons. Is there any tips you want to share with folks about maybe trying this for the first time?
Yes. I would say online there's a lot of resources for videos to show you like step by step how to do it. My main tip is you should squeeze out the air as much as you can from the wrapper because air expands in the boiling water. So your wonton might explode if you don't press
Okay.
out the air, or do the best you can to press out the air and seal the edges. Another
Hmm.
hot tip is wontons are very easy to freeze. So if you make a big batch, this recipe makes 4 servings or about 50 wontons. I
Ooh.
don't, it might be less for you, like serving wise. It's okay. I can wolf down 20 wontons, no problem too. But
You absolutely can.
if you have leftovers, what I recommend is having a cookie sheet, having put down a parchment paper, and then place your wontons so they don't touch each other. This is very important. And put it
Mm.
in the freezer until it gets kind of hard on the outside. Then you can put them in a Ziploc or something. But that way they freeze and they won't break apart. You don't have to like break them apart to separate them. And you don't have to thaw them to re-boil. You just put them directly as frozen wontons into a pot of boiling water. And that's how like a lot of working professionals, if you're a busy parent, this is a great recipe. My mom, whenever growing up, she was going on business trip or something, she would always make like family portions of wontons for my dad to like
Oh.
feed us when she's away. So I promise this works.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love that. And like the pack, most wonton packs are like they come in like a stack of 50 or so. So it makes sense to do them all at once, and then you don't have to pre-boil them or anything. You just fold them all up, put them on the parchment, freeze them, and then ready to boil. Um, and oh, I read over your recipe, and I love the idea of like boiling the water, putting the wonton in, and then putting the cold water in halfway.
Yeah, right. So let me explain this. I don't know why. This might just be one of these like grandma tips, but it's
Yes.
worked for me. um, so wontons and dumplings and raviolis, they all float when they're done. So because this has shrimp, I just want to make sure it's definitely cooked through, but shrimp cooks pretty quickly. So I recommend, when you put the wontons into the boiling water, firstly, you want to slide them gently. Like don't plop them in because you'll get the splashback, right? Like put it in a
Yes.
ladle and slide it in, or just like gently drop. That's a
Mm.
good tip. You don't need to have your water boiling vigorously because that could disrupt the skin. Just like a nice boil is fine.
Yeah.
Like gently whirl the water or swirl the water so the dumplings or wontons don't stick to each other.
Mm.
And then once you see them all float, you're going to add 1 cup of cold water. And once the water boils again after that 1 cup of cold water, you're like good to go. It's all set.
I love that. That's such a cool tip because you wouldn't want the wonton to be too tough or, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to
Yes.
try that this weekend.
Yes, and this is very important. Wontons, noodles, a lot of starchy foods, it should be served immediately or else it can get soggy in the soup. So if you're gonna have leftovers, don't cook those wontons. Put them in the
Mm,
freezer.
okay,
So then you can just pull them out and have fresh wontons. Yeah,
I
they
love
don't
that.
keep well in their soup in the fridge.
Yeah, they'll get all bloated or
Yeah,
something.
it's not good.
Does the frozen, say you freeze a little, does it cook a little bit longer than if they were fresh, or is it about the same time
You
for
know, it's
cooking?
not a noticeable difference.
Okay.
I will have to say that not all wonton wrappers are created equal because there are some wonton wrappers that are maybe made with more egg or they
Mm.
are made for shawmai or sumai purposes. They are steamed dim sums. So those are usually a lot more yellow in color and those do not freeze and reboil well. They're meant for
Oh.
steaming. But the wonton wrappers at the Common Ground Co-op, I can vouch for these because I did it with this batch. It does work very well, frozen and reboiled.
Oh, yay. Good. That's awesome. Yeah, it's so interesting to see how it's kind of like there's different types of pasta, but that's so good to know. I'm glad we have wontons that will do both.
They hold up. They definitely hold up.
Um, and is there any like other fillings that you can like put in? I think the shrimp and ginger sounds so delicious. Are there other types of fillings that can be put in there too?
Yes, absolutely. So I went with the shrimp, bamboo shoot, and ginger because the shrimp is available at Common Ground. It's really nice quality shrimp, so I really enjoy that. It doesn't taste fishy or anything like that. And it's nice for the winter months when you want a soup, but you can't necessarily find a lot of fresh like ingredients. So
Yeah.
this is a good option for winter. The typical kind of fillings that my grandmother made always had pork instead of shrimp.
Mm.
So she would do like pork and Napa cabbage or pork and
Mm.
Chinese chives. That's a really typical Asian dumpling slash wonton filling. It's Chinese chives, but it's very
Mm.
strong, so it's not for everyone.
I'll have to find some Chinese chives. Are they a lot different from the chives that you can find here?
Yes, they are like a cross between chives, garlic, and leek, maybe. They're about pencil thick. The flowering part of the chives is a special delicacy. My grandmother, we didn't have in Virginia, we actually don't really have that much lawn because chives look like grass. So the whole backyard is just like Chinese chives. So we just dug them out of the garden.
Oh
But
wow, I love
find them
that.
here. Yeah, you can find them
Oh.
at the Asian supermarkets, but just you can use leek as well. Actually, I've done pork and leek and it's excellent.
Mm.
You can do mushrooms, but if you do mushrooms or Chinese cabbage, you need to pre salt them to squeeze out the water because they
Okay.
have a lot of water content.
A lot of liquid.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe we'll have to have you back to do some more recipes. I can't wait. We're, you know, we're
Yeah.
we're talking about maybe, you know, seeing other ways that we can still host classes.
Yes, and I have a lot of friends who are vegetarian or vegan, and my grandmother's clientele back in China in the 90s, like they
Yeah,
were straight pork eaters. But
totally.
I have been experimenting with more vegetarian friendly or vegan friendly adaptations of these recipes,
Cool.
and she has as well. So for vegetarians, I believe that for dumplings, at least, she used scrambled eggs as kind
Oh,
of like that protein filling. And
yeah.
then for vegans, I believe she's tried like silken tofu or some sort of a tofu combination. So it is possible. Um, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
dumplings are for everyone.
Yeah. I love that. Oh, cool. Is there anything else you've been cooking during COVID?
Oh gosh, so many things.
Yeah.
It works well with my COVID passion of gardening. So I've been cooking a lot and growing a lot of Asian greens and
Mm,
vegetables
mm.
just to kind of reconnect with my roots, learn how they work, and kind of use them in my own cooking. And also, I do want to share with my friends about uses of Asian and Chinese vegetables. Growing up as a kid here in the States, unfortunately for me at the time, and I think a lot of other Asian kids, we would bring lunch to school and we would open our, daikon soup or whatever, and everyone would
Yeah,
freak out like, oh my God, what is this? But I'm
yeah.
glad to see a new or at least a growing interest. Like maybe when I was in third grade and I had seaweed, those like seaweed snacks, it was
Yeah.
not cool. Everyone wanted fruit roll up, so I had nothing to trade with anyone ever. But
Oh,
now, like, seaweed is in, or those like
seaweed
rice crackers are in.
seaweed is so in.
I
Well,
know.
people are more we sell so many seaweed snacks, and we just got sea moss in, which is like a supplement. But yeah, you're so right. I do I'm and I love the fact that like you're willing to share really authentic recipes, and I think people are really looking to learn different cultural cuisines, and it's really, yeah, I think it's wonderful to have you be able to kind of introduce some new ways for people to cook, and it's so just from the pictures it looks so delicious. I can't wait to do things with you where we can taste things together. And but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you're doing a bunch of gardening. Are you have plans to do a garden this year?
Yes, it's already started. I've rented a plot with the Champagne Park Service. We've already
Oh,
harvested over 4 pounds of food from that plot. So I'm
wow.
very excited.
That's amazing. Wow,
Yes.
that's incredible, especially because this spring season is like just now hitting. So good on you for growing all of these amazing things. I feel like greens probably do really well in this time period of the season, slightly
Yes.
cool, but just oh, that's great.
Yes.
I'm gonna be gardening
Um,
too.
I also like, I want to invite people to experiment, try out their own flavors. I know we are all seeking like authentic experiences and authentic recipes, but it is also okay to experiment. Like we change with the times. Even my grandma's experimenting with vegan dumplings. Like who would have thought, right? So it is
Yes.
okay. Have fun and like let us know if you discover a particularly good adaptation to these things, and it's totally fine. Let's celebrate wontons.
I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, even like the even in our salad mixes that we sell at the co-op, like Blue Moon Farm, they include like tot soy, which I think is a Asian green, and yeah, just yeah, I think you're totally right to experiment with different flavors, and I feel like it'll I feel like there's such a good connection that you can have with trying new vegetables and realizing like the stories and cultures that are tied to. So yeah, I'm so with you. I think we all need something to celebrate now more than ever. So I'm down for the celebration of wontons.
Yes, right. Need to make some stickers or something.
Yes. Well, Juan, thank you so much for sharing. I'm really excited for everyone to see this recipe. We'll attach this video on your blog and include all the photos. And for anyone that's watching this, we're going to post it on Facebook. And so if you try out the recipe, make sure to let us know how much you love it, and we'll be sure to try and have you back as soon as possible back in the classroom.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to share these recipes. Happy to share my grandma's awesome entrepreneurial journey after she retired. She's such a superwoman. Shout out to
Yes.
grandma.
Yes.
And yeah, and thank you for bringing delicious ingredients that we can use to have fun and experiment with different flavors in our own kitchens.
Oh, well, thanks so much. And yeah, be sure to send our regards to your grandma and being like, wow, I can't wait to try this secret recipe.
Sure.
Cool. Well, yeah, thanks so much. And yeah, we'll make sure that this recipe is up and available for people to check out. But thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem. Enjoy. Happy
Okay.
cooking.
Yeah.